Part 1, The Fall Before the Rise. Did you hear about the top student from our town? Whispers filled the school hallway like wildfire. The tone wasn't curious, it was sharp, hungry for drama. Students leaned over desks, paused while drinking water, or slowed their steps just to catch a word or two. Gossip had a scent, and today, it smelled like tragedy. What happened? Someone asked, eyes wide. I heard he got hit by a car the day he left for college, another voice answered in a near whisper. He was in the hospital for days. They say he woke up paralyzed from the waist down. No way, someone gasped. That's so tragic. His family must be heartbroken. What family? A girl sneered. All he has is a fiancée, and guess what? She used to be his sister-in-law. The guy has no one else. A thick silence followed that line, then someone muttered, that woman must be cursed. Yeah, another voice added, everyone close to her ends up doomed. If Andrew didn't have some celestial protection, he'd probably be dead too. The moment I heard my name whispered, soft, venomous, I froze. Cursed woman. Zoe had once called me that. Back then, when everything went wrong, she blamed me for it all. She said I was the one who brought disaster into her perfect little life. Funny, isn't it? Now the same people were saying that about her. What are you thinking about? I looked up. Chase had appeared beside me, holding out a green ice pop like it was some kind of peace offering. Nothing much, I replied, taking the ice pop. Just overheard someone else's story. To me, they're just other people, I added, more to myself than to him. He nudged my shoulder. Come on. I'm tutoring you today, remember? Your dad's paying me for it. Chase grinned and reached out to mess up my hair before bolting away. Chase. I shouted after him, half annoyed, half laughing. We joked and laughed all the way home. It was warm. It was ordinary. For a moment, life felt okay. But that peace shattered the second we reached my door. Someone was waiting. Zoe. She looked nothing like the cheerful girl I once knew. Her makeup was smudged, hair wild from stress, and her eyes were desperate. What the hell did you do to Andrew? She screamed the second she saw me. Why did he get hit by that car? You, answer me. I didn't move. When shouting didn't work, she dropped to her knees right in front of me. Lisa, please, she sobbed, clinging to my leg like I was her last hope. Help Andrew. He doesn't even have enough money to stay in the hospital. He needs you. I stared down at her, cold and quiet. Andrew, he was just my ex-boyfriend. He refused to even acknowledge me after we broke up. I wasn't his mother. I wasn't his nurse. I didn't owe him anything. So why? What did any of this have to do with me? I tried to walk past her, but she wouldn't let go. Her nails dug into my skin. Andrew loves you, she whispered, eyes wet and wild. He even calls your name in his dreams. Why are you being so heartless? Calls my name in his sleep? What, was he trying to curse me to death in his dreams too? Let her go, Chase's voice cut through the tension like a blade. He'd seen everything. Zoe's grip, my red skin, the tears. You're Andrew's fiancé, right? He said, stepping between us. I'm warning you. Stop harassing Lisa. Next time, I won't hold back. And with that, he slammed his fist into the wall beside us. A loud crack. Chunks of plaster fell to the ground. Zoe stumbled back, startled. Her face turned pale. She looked at me one last time. I didn't say a word. I didn't move. That silence was her answer. Zoe left. Chase turned to me, rubbing his knuckles. Did I look badass? He asked with a half smile. I finally laughed. Does your hand hurt? Nah, I've got thick skin, he said proudly. But his hand was already turning red. In a hospital not far from us, Andrew lay in bed, listening to Zoe cry. All our money's gone, she whimpered. Even your college tuition. Just staying here costs so much. What are we going to do? Andrew clenched his jaw. No money? Then sell all that crap you bought recently, he snapped. Zoe's face twisted. That stuff's not even worth much. And besides, I threw out all my old clothes. If I sell what I have now, what am I supposed to wear? She crossed her arms and huffed. Maybe I could go beg Lisa again, she mumbled. I heard she has a new boyfriend now. He looks like he has money. The moment Andrew heard that, something inside him snapped. He grabbed the plastic cup by his bed and hurled it to the floor. You still think you're somebody? Zoe shouted. This isn't like before. You're nothing now, paralyzed, broke, forgotten. Everyone has to walk on eggshells around you. I begged Lisa. I swallowed my pride for you. And this is how you treat me? Her eyes went cold. Her voice dropped to a bitter whisper. Let's see who's going to take care of you now. Andrew didn't respond. He couldn't. Because every word she said was true. And it shattered him. Get out, he said through clenched teeth. Get the hell out. That night, something strange happened. The memories came rushing back. A past life, another version of himself, flashed before his eyes. In that life, he was successful. Respected. Admired. Zoe had been his mistress. He stood at the top of the world, but there had been one dark stain on his perfect life. Lisa. His wife. His paralyzed wife. She had saved his life and became paralyzed because of it. He used her family to climb the social ladder. He used her love. And when she became a burden, he threw her away. In that life, everything began with that car accident. Now it made sense. Now he understood why Lisa wanted to break up. How could she ever forgive him? He didn't deserve forgiveness. And he would never get it, not in this life. There was no way Zoe would get money from Lisa again. That bridge was burnt, flooded, and buried in ash. He lay in his hospital bed, breathing heavy, eyes wide. He wanted to start over. He wanted to fix everything. But Zoe never came back. And no one else ever did. The hospital stopped treatment. He was discharged with nowhere to go. And one day, he died. No one noticed. No one cried. His second cousin found his body 3 days later, stiff, cold, alone. As for Zoe, after fleeing the hospital, she leaned into the only thing she had left, her looks. She landed a job at a nightclub. Soon, she became someone's mistress. For a while, her life seemed glamorous. Expensive cars picked her up. She wore designer clothes. People talked about her like she was a star. But that glow didn't last long. The wife of the man who kept her found her. She stabbed Zoe to death right in front of her apartment. Just like that. Gone. None of that had anything to do with me anymore. A whole year passed. Summer came again. It was finally time for me to take the college entrance exam. Mom and Dad came with me to the test center. The school gate was packed with parents and students. The air was thick with tension and hope. Of course, Chase was there too. Over the past year, we studied hard together. I helped him catch up, and he'd become one of the top students in class. He stood beside me, calm and confident. While I was tying my hair back, he reached out and ruffled it again, his usual gesture. This time, I didn't push him away. Instead, I looked him straight in the eye and said firmly, after the exam, let's go get ice cream. He grinned. I thought you'd never ask. That summer, the scores were released. I became the first female top scorer in the county. Finally, I had taken my life back. And no one, not Andrew, not Zoe, not fate itself, could stop me now. Part 2, the new You and Me. My name was on the news. County's top female student scores first in national exam. Mom cried when she saw the headline. Dad smiled so wide his face turned red. Even our old neighbors came knocking, congratulating my parents and asking how they raised such a genius. But it wasn't just me anymore. Chase ranked second. People were even more surprised by him. He had always been a bit of a troublemaker, skipping homework, goofing off in class, cracking jokes during serious tests. No one expected him to change. But he did. And I was part of that change. We both got into the best university in the province. When the acceptance letters came, Chase grinned at me like he was the king of the world. "Looks like we're stuck together, college girl." "Looks like it," I said, though a small part of me felt something deeper. Something warm. For the first time in a long while, life moved forward without pain tugging at my feet. But just when I thought the past had been buried for good, it returned. It happened on the very first day of university. We had just finished orientation and were exploring campus when someone called out from behind us. "Lisa?" I froze. The voice was deep. Calm. Too familiar. I turned slowly. Standing under the soft afternoon sun was a tall man in a military-style uniform jacket. His face was sharp, his posture perfect. But his eyes, they were the same. Even after all this time. "Andrew," I whispered. Chase stepped beside me immediately, sensing the tension. Andrew's lips curved up into a smile. "It's been a while." I couldn't believe it. He was walking. Alive. Strong. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to be alive. "I heard you did well on the exam," he added. "I'm proud of you." Chase crossed his arms. "Who are you?" "I'm Lisa's fiancé," Andrew replied, his eyes never leaving mine. Chase laughed coldly. "Not anymore, you're not." I grabbed Chase's arm before he could say more. "Let's go." But Andrew stepped in our path. "Lisa. Can we talk?" "I don't have anything to say to you," I said quietly. "I do." I agreed to give him 10 minutes. We sat at a quiet bench near the fountain. Chase waited from a distance, watching like a guard dog. Andrew leaned forward. "I wanted to say sorry." "You did that before," I said. "Back when you were in the hospital. Your fiancé came crying and begging for help. Remember?" His jaw tightened. "I was confused back then," he said. "But I'm not anymore. I know what I lost." I looked at him. This version of Andrew was stronger, calmer. His voice wasn't angry or cold, it was humble. He wasn't trying to blame me. He wasn't asking me for anything. He just looked like a man trying to fix something broken. "Zoe's gone," he said quietly. "She died last winter." He didn't finish. "I remembered things," he said instead. "About a different life. A life where I used you. Hurt you. I became someone I hated. I didn't speak. I died alone in that life," he said. "But this time, I came back. And I don't want to repeat my mistakes." His eyes met mine again. "I want to protect you. This time, I want to be the one who takes the fall, not the one who watches you get hurt." I stood up. That life, whatever it was, is gone. I've moved on. Andrew didn't stop me. But as I walked away, he called out one last thing. "I'll wait. No matter how long it takes." Chase didn't ask questions. He didn't need to. He could see everything in my eyes. And that night, when we walked home, he said softly, "You don't owe anyone your pain, Lisa. Not even someone from your past." I reached out and took his hand. I know. College life started fast. Classes, labs, projects, it was a storm of deadlines and lectures. Chase and I shared a few classes, and even when we didn't, he'd always find me after lectures with snacks or tea. He was becoming my safety net. And I was falling, slowly but surely. One evening, after class, we sat by the lake on campus, watching the sky turn orange and pink. "Can I ask you something?" Chase said. "Sure. If I asked you to be my girlfriend, would you say yes?" I looked at him. He was nervous for the first time in forever. I smiled. "Yes." He stared at me. "Really?" "Yes." He laughed so loud a couple nearby jumped. "Sorry," he called out, still laughing. I laughed too, resting my head on his shoulder. That night, under the stars, we kissed for the first time. But peace never lasts. Especially not when the past refuses to let go. 2 weeks later, I was called to the dean's office. When I arrived, I found Andrew already there. "Why are you here?" I asked. "I recommended you for a military research internship," he said. "What?" I blinked. "The department liked your file. But someone needed to back you up." I did. I shook my head. "Why?" "Because you're the best. And because I want to give you the future you deserve." I turned to the dean. "I can't accept this." "Why not?" The dean frowned. "You're the top of your class. This internship could change your life." Andrew stood up. "I'll remove my name. You'll get it on your own merit." I stared at him, stunned. "I'm not trying to buy your forgiveness," he said. "I just want you to have what you deserve. Whether I'm in your life or not." Chase was waiting outside. I told him everything. He didn't speak for a long moment. Then, quietly, he asked, "Do you still love him?" I paused. "No," I said honestly. "But I don't hate him anymore either." Chase looked at me. "Good," he said. "Because I love you. And I'm not afraid to fight for you." Later that semester, the military internship program launched. 3 students were selected from our department. I was one of them. I visited military labs, met real engineers, saw technology that hadn't even been released to the public yet. And on one visit, I saw Andrew again. This time, he was dressed in full uniform, giving a presentation. He didn't look at me. He didn't approach me. But I could tell. He was still watching from afar. Months passed. Chase and I grew closer. We studied together, traveled on weekends, built dreams out of library books and whispered plans. One evening, after a long study session, Chase took my hand. "Lisa," he said seriously. "Will you move in with me after graduation?" I looked at him. This boy who once annoyed me with ice pops and pranks. This boy who stood beside me when the world turned cold. "Yes," I said. We kissed. It felt like the beginning of forever. But forever is never guaranteed. Part 3, Ghosts Don't Stay Buried. College life felt almost normal now. Chase and I had our own rhythm, coffee in the morning, classes during the day, tutoring sessions in the evening, and long walks after dinner. We laughed a lot. Fought over small things. Made up with forehead kisses and silent promises. It was the kind of life I used to dream about. But something was shifting in the shadows. I could feel it. It started with a text message. Unknown number. "You think he really loves you?" I stared at the screen. No name. No clue who sent it. I deleted it without replying. But the messages kept coming. Ask him about last summer. Ask him where he really goes at night. You're just a substitute. He still loves her. I tried to ignore it. But each message was like a thorn, buried deeper in my skin. One night, I finally asked Chase, "Did you love anyone before me?" He blinked, surprised. "Yeah, once. But it wasn't real." "Who was she?" He hesitated. "Her name was Claire. We were kids. She moved away after middle school." "Do you still talk?" "No," he said firmly. "She's part of the past. You're my future." I believed him. But the texts didn't stop. Things got worse when I found a note slipped into my locker. "You're in danger. Stay away from Andrew." I turned around quickly, trying to see who might have left it. But the hallway was already full of students, and no one looked suspicious. I told Chase about it that evening. He frowned and took the note. "Sounds like a prank. Someone's just trying to scare you." But he didn't throw it away. He folded it carefully and put it in his pocket. The next week, the three of us, me, Chase, and Andrew, were chosen for a joint university military technology exhibition. We were supposed to present our research together. It was awkward at first, but we kept it professional. Andrew had changed a lot. He was polite, focused, even careful around Chase. It was strange to watch them interact. Like two different versions of the same world meeting in the middle. During one of our planning sessions, I excused myself to get water. As I walked back, I heard voices coming from the hallway. "You don't deserve her," Chase said coldly. "She doesn't belong to anyone," Andrew replied. "No, but she chose me." "I know. I'm not here to take her. I'm here to protect her." "I don't need your help," Chase snapped. There was silence, then Andrew said something low and serious. "Then make sure your secrets don't hurt her." That night, I couldn't sleep. What secrets? What did Andrew know? And why did Chase look so afraid when I asked about it? One evening, I walked into the study room and found Chase staring at his phone. He quickly locked it when he saw me. "Who was that?" I asked casually. "No one," he said. But the knot in my stomach twisted tighter. The next morning, the messages returned. This time, they were photos. Photos of Chase, with a girl. They weren't kissing. But they were close. Sitting in a car. Talking in a park. At a cafe late at night. Each one came with a caption. "Still think he's yours?" He told her he loved her last week. "Ask him what happened the night you had the flu." My fingers shook as I held the phone. No. Chase wouldn't do this. He couldn't. That afternoon, I confronted him. "Who is she?" His face changed instantly. "Lisa, listen, just answer me. Who is she?" "Her name is Claire." My heart dropped. "She came back a few months ago," he said. "She was in trouble. Her parents kicked her out. She had no one else." "And you helped her?" "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to worry you. It was just temporary." "Do you still love her?" "No," he said quickly. "I swear to you." "Lisa, she tried to kiss me. I pushed her away. I told her I was with you." My mind spun. Everything felt heavy. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I asked quietly. "I was scared you'd leave," he admitted. I walked out without saying another word. I didn't know where I was going. I just walked. And somehow, I ended up in front of the military research building. Andrew saw me from across the courtyard. He didn't ask questions. Just walked over and handed me a bottle of water. "I warned him," he said simply. I sat on the bench, not saying anything. After a moment, I asked, "Did you send those messages?" "No," he said. "But I found out who did." He showed me a photo on his phone. It was Claire. Andrew explained everything. Claire had returned months ago, hoping to rekindle her past with Chase. When he didn't respond the way she wanted, she turned bitter. She started following him. Watching us. Gathering information. "She wanted to ruin you both," Andrew said. "She's the one who slipped that note in your locker. She even tried to get me involved." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I know how it feels to trust the wrong person," he said. "And I didn't want you to go through that again." Later that night, I found Chase sitting outside my dorm. He stood up when he saw me. Lisa, please, I know the truth, I said. His shoulders sagged. She didn't mean anything to me, he said. But I handled it wrong. I should have told you everything from the start. I'm not angry, I said. I'm just tired. He looked at me, his eyes filled with regret. I don't want to lose you, he said. You're my whole world. I stepped closer. I don't want to lose you either, I whispered. But you have to promise me, no more secrets. I promise. Things calmed down after that. Claire disappeared from our lives. Rumors said she transferred schools. No one knew for sure. Andrew kept his distance too. He focused on his work, always watching from afar but never crossing the line again. And me? I focused on healing. Because love doesn't survive without truth. And truth is a painful, necessary medicine. By the time graduation approached, Chase and I were stronger than ever. He proposed in the quietest way possible. No big gestures. No rings. Just a whisper during one of our late-night walks. Lisa, he said, stopping under a street lamp. Let's build a life together. I didn't need a ring. I already said yes a long time ago, I said. He smiled. I just needed to hear it again. But nothing in life comes without a price. Not even love. And I was about to learn that some debts can't be ignored forever. Part 4. What was buried never left. Love is never perfect. Even in peace, there are shadows. And sometimes, the past doesn't just return, it knocks the wind out of you when you least expect it. Everything was going well, too well, maybe. Graduation was coming, job offers were arriving, and Chase and I had quietly started looking for small apartments near the city. We were building our future. But then, Andrew collapsed during a routine military training. The news hit me like ice. I was walking through campus when I heard two students whispering, "Did you hear about Andrew?" "Yeah." Collapsed mid-session. They said he might have hit his head. Someone mentioned it's connected to his old injury, from that car crash. Car crash. My chest tightened. I ran straight to the hospital. When I arrived, Zoe was already there. Her red eyes and messy hair told me she hadn't slept. But she still looked just as proud and bitter. She glared at me as I approached. "What are you doing here?" she snapped. "I came to see Andrew." "You have no right," she hissed. "You threw him away. You're the reason he ended up like this." Before I could speak, a nurse appeared and said, "He's asking for Lisa." Zoe's face froze. I didn't say anything. I just walked past her and followed the nurse into the room. Andrew looked pale. Too pale. He had wires on his chest, and 4 in his arm, and a deep bruise along his temple. But he smiled when he saw me. "You came." "Of course," I whispered, sitting beside him. He turned his head, slowly. "Do you believe in second chances?" "I used to," I said softly. "What about now?" I looked at him. "I believe in choices. And consequences." He laughed, but it sounded hollow. "I remember everything now," he said suddenly. I tensed. "Everything?" He nodded. "My past life. The way I treated you. What happened after you died." My heart dropped. "You died saving me," he said, voice cracking. "And I threw that away. I let Zoe lie to me. I let her destroy you." My hands trembled. "I don't blame you anymore," he said. "You did what you had to. If I were you, I would have left me too." There was a long silence. "I'm not here to ask for forgiveness," he said. "I just wanted to say thank you." Tears burned behind my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. Outside the room, Zoe was waiting like a storm. "What did he say?" she demanded. I didn't answer. She stepped closer. "You think he still wants you? Don't fool yourself. You're just a ghost to him now." He pities you. I kept walking. Andrew's mine, she shouted. He always has been. But she was wrong. Andrew was no one's anymore. He belonged to the pain he created. That night, I told Chase everything. The hospital. The memory return. Zoe's threats. He listened quietly, then reached out and held my hand. You don't have to face them alone. I know, I whispered. But I'm afraid. 2 days later, the university was buzzing again. Zoe had disappeared. Rumors spread like fire. Some said she ran away. Some said she was caught stealing money from Andrew's hospital fund. Some even said she tried to poison herself. The truth? She left a letter. Addressed to me. Lisa, I don't care what people say about me. I've done what I had to survive. Andrew was my ticket to a better life. But he was always thinking of you. Even in his dreams. Even when he held me. Do you know how painful that is? To be second, always second. You ruined everything, even from far away. And now I'm done. Keep your perfect life. I'll find another way. Zoe, I stared at the letter for a long time. Then I folded it and burned it over the sink. Andrew slowly recovered. But he never returned to school. Instead, he moved to a quiet facility in the countryside to focus on physical therapy. I visited once. We sat on a bench under the shade of an old tree. I heard you're engaged, he said with a faint smile. Yes. He's lucky. I'm the lucky one, I said. He looked up at the sky. You know, sometimes I wonder what life would have been like if I hadn't made those choices. I didn't say anything. But I don't regret remembering, he added. Even if it hurts. At least now. I understand what I lost. When I left that day, he didn't ask me to come back. And I didn't promise I would. We both knew the past had already taken too much from us. 1 week before graduation, I found Chase in the library, sitting with a letter in his hands. He looked pale. What's wrong? I asked. He handed me the letter silently. It was from Claire. Chase, I lied. I told Lisa we only talked. But there's more. We didn't sleep together, but I kissed you. And you kissed me back. You said you were confused. You said you didn't know what you wanted anymore. I didn't mean to ruin your life. But I wanted her to know the truth. Maybe you two are meant to be. Maybe not. But she deserves honesty. Not half-truths. Goodbye. Claire, I sat down. The world spun a little. Lisa, Chase began, I didn't know she'd send that. I didn't know she'd twist it like that. Did you kiss her? He was silent. I stood up. That's all I needed to know. For 3 days, I didn't answer his calls. Didn't reply to his messages. Didn't even check the door when he knocked. But on the 4th day, I found him sitting outside my dorm in the rain. His eyes were red. His clothes soaked. He looked broken. I messed up, he whispered. I was scared. I thought you'd leave me if I told you the full truth. I loved you, I said. I trusted you. I still love you, he said. I'm not perfect. But I want to spend the rest of my life making up for it. The storm inside me calmed, just a little. I walked over. Then start by never lying again, I said. Even if the truth hurts. He nodded. I swear. And for the first time in days, I let him hold me. Graduation came with sunshine and speeches. Mom and Dad cried when my name was called. I was awarded Best Research Project of the Year. Chase walked on stage right after me. When we met at the bottom of the stairs, he reached out and took my hand. And the crowd clapped even louder. But even in that happy moment, I knew something. The past doesn't disappear. It hides in the corners of your life, waiting for a crack to crawl through. And someday, it would return again. For now, though, I had love. I had freedom. And most of all, I had myself. And that was enough. For now. Part 5. The letter I never sent underscore 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 underscore. They say healing is not a straight path. Some days are bright and clear. Other days, the shadows come back. But after everything I went through, with Andrew, Zoe, Chase, and even Claire, I finally understood something. Goodbye is not always the end. Sometimes, it's the beginning of a better life. Underscore 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 underscore. A few months after graduation, I started working at a nonprofit that helped young women who had survived emotional abuse. At first, I didn't think I had the strength. But as I listened to their stories of betrayal, gaslighting, manipulation, I realized something powerful. I wasn't alone. And more importantly, I had survived. Underscore 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 underscore. Chase got a job in the city, too. We moved into a small apartment with creaky wooden floors and sunlight that poured in every morning. We didn't have much, but we had peace. For a while. Underscore 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 underscore. One evening, while unpacking an old box of college notebooks, I found a sealed envelope with no name. Inside it was a single sheet of paper. I recognized the handwriting instantly. It was mine. I had written it the night I almost left the country, when everything with Andrew and Zoe had broken me. It was a letter meant for myself. Underscore 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 underscore. Lisa, if you're reading this, it means you made it. You survived what tried to destroy you. There were moments you wanted to disappear. Moments you hated yourself for loving the wrong people. Moments you wished you had fought harder, or not at all. But you did your best. And that was enough. I know you're scared. I know you feel alone. But I promise, one day you'll look back and see how strong you were. So if you ever feel lost again, read this. And remember who you are. Love, Lisa underscore 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 underscore. I sat on the floor and cried. Not because I was sad, but because I was finally proud. Proud of the girl who wrote that letter. And proud of the woman I had become. Underscore 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 a year passed. Then 2. And one morning, out of nowhere, I got a message from Andrew. It was short, I'm getting married. Her name is Yuna. She's kind, honest, and doesn't run from the truth. Just thought you should know. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I smiled. And typed back, I'm happy for you. You deserve peace. That was it. We never spoke again. And I was okay with that. Underscore 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 Zoe, as far as I knew, never came back. Someone told me she changed her name and started working in a private school abroad. I didn't try to find her. Some people are meant to stay in the past. And some wounds are best left closed. Underscore 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 underscore. As for Claire, she sent a handwritten apology one winter. It arrived just before Christmas. I didn't reply. Not because I hated her, but because I had nothing left to say. Forgiveness is not always a conversation. Sometimes, it's just letting go. Underscore 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 Chase and I had our ups and downs. Trust takes time to rebuild. But we worked on it, together. We took therapy sessions. We traveled. We fought over silly things like who forgot to buy milk or whose turn it was to clean the bathroom. But we also laughed. A lot. And most importantly, we grew. Not as two perfect people, but as two people willing to choose each other again and again. Underscore 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 underscore. On our 3rd anniversary, he took me to the beach. The same beach where we had once walked as students, talking about dreams and fears and love. We sat in the sand as the sun set. I have something for you, he said. He handed me a small box. Inside was a ring. Simple. Silver. With a tiny, glowing stone in the center. I don't need a perfect love story, he said. I just need you. I looked into his eyes, full of truth. And I said yes. Underscore 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 underscore. We didn't throw a big wedding. Just a quiet one, with close friends and family. No white gowns or tuxedos. Just us, on a hilltop, promising to never lie again, never hide again, and always fight together, even when it gets hard. And it will get hard. But we were ready. Underscore 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 underscore. After the ceremony, someone handed me a small notebook as a gift. Inside, on the first page, were 4 words, the price of goodbye. I turned the page and found blank lines. A new story waiting to be written. Ours. Underscore 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 underscore. Years passed. I watched young women at the shelter walk in with tear-streaked faces and walk out with heads held high. I became someone they looked up to. Someone who had been through fire and didn't burn. But I never told them my full story. Because it wasn't just about heartbreak. It was about healing. And sometimes, the ending is not what matters most. Sometimes, it's how you live after the ending that defines you. Underscore 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 underscore. One afternoon, I sat at my desk and began writing. Not another letter, but a book. A story of a girl who lost herself in love, but found her way back. A story of betrayals and mistakes and the long road home. I didn't name names, but those who knew me would know. I called it The Price of Goodbye because letting go isn't weakness. It's courage. And I wanted every broken heart out there to know they're not alone. Underscore 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 underscore. And if you're reading this now, maybe you've been there too. Maybe your heart has been broken. Maybe your trust has been crushed. Maybe someone told you that you were too much. Or not enough. But let me tell you this, you are worthy. Of love. Of peace. Of a life that doesn't hurt. The past will try to visit again. Let it. Just don't invite it to stay. Say your goodbye. And then begin again.